All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another BYOB Money School Ask Me Anything happy hour. It's Wednesday. We're here to answer all your questions as a team. Appreciate everybody hopping on here each week. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're going to get to all your questions, do some introductions, and we'll be right back. All right. What's up, everyone? I'm Stephen Nagy. Just came back over to my home office. You guys can tell my background's a little bit different than earlier. Have some paperwork I got to get done here this evening. But I'm going to say this. This will be the last time you see this setup from me because over the years, I've had a lot of different setups. They come, they go, they get moved, they get changed. This is going to be the last show from this setup. Those are coming off the wall tonight, going over to the new office, but not behind me for the typical Zoom sessions. I'm going to do something a little bit different with them at the new office. So this will be the last time you see these. But other than that, it's a beautiful day down here in South Florida. It's about 80 degrees, dropping into the mid 70s. Had my doors open a moment ago. Beautiful out. It's warming up this weekend. We got our local town Christmas parade on Saturday. I'll be walking in it with the baseball team. The parade concession goes right by my new office, though. So we've been decorating. We've been doing some BYOB advertising out there for everybody that's going to be coming by on Saturday. So having a lot of fun with that. Other than that, just December. Can't believe it's December 3rd already. I wrote that earlier, 12/3, and I just shook my head. It's unbelievable. This year has flown by. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Has it gone by fast for you? Are you ready for 2026? I know as a team, we are doing a bunch of really cool new stuff for 2026. Super excited, bringing back some old trainings that we used to do, combining with some of our new trainings. So the virtual Money School BYOB 3-day is coming back January 30th, 31st, and February 1st. Super stoked for that. And not only bringing it back, but getting the team involved. Jason, Joe, Brian, you guys are all going to be on the 3-day training and teaching our students. So really looking forward to that. If you haven't already, get a ticket. You should have got an invite in your email inbox over the weekend. We did early bird registration. So get started with that. You can get a VIP ticket for under $100 right now. Can't beat it. Let's see what else is going on. Other than that, let me introduce the team and we'll get answering your questions here. So I'll shoot over to Mr. Brian Fouts next to me. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, everybody? Don't forget, get those questions in the chat box. This is Ask Me Anything anyways, I think. Yep. Yeah, then we got our first snow finally up here, and we were ready for it. This year was kind of nice. So today went back to fire up the dozer to start plowing some snow, and it won't start. So this is always typical for me. Got everybody and then plow some snow, but now they won't start, which is always frustrating to me.
I'll make sure my ears heard me right. I've never heard that word. That's a cool one. I like it. Let's use it. Brain foul.
I'm still warming up because I was outside right now and it's freezing cold. So
it was snow.
But anyways, living out in the country is always fun, always an excitement. So, with that, I'll pass it over to Mr. Chris.
Yeah. So same thing up here in Buffalo, New York, Clarence, New York, whatever you want to call it. We got lots of snow. The resorts are getting, I think last I checked, 20 some inches of snow. Resorts open this weekend. I won't be able to go, but happy they're there. Everything around here is snow covered. So it's a beautiful white blanket of freezing cold snow. Joe doesn't like it, but I'm psyched about it. Steven's bragging about 15 or about 70 degrees, and I'm going to brag about 15 degrees because that's about what it is outside right now. So I would say Brian's probably colder than we are, but it's pretty nippy out here. And it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. It came all at once. We got snow and then it melted and then we got it again. So here we are, but definitely here to answer questions. So let it roll. And then I love some of these questions. My wife says it's a scam. Yeah.
That's my favorite. I love that one.
My favorite.
I got one before we move on down to test. I got one request, Chris. Anytime we schedule trainings, can we keep it within the same month? Because it's really hard to say January 30th, 31st, and February 1st. Just saying. All right. What's up, Tess?
Hi, I'm Tess Hulek, and I actually have snow too. I will say that we got about 6 to 8 inches of the wet stuff, and it took me 2 hours to shovel that stuff. But it's beautiful. So my weather here is probably about 20 degrees, so a little warmer than New York. Glad to be here with you guys. And I will let you know that if you hear whining or you see a tail flash before me, I have a cat over here who wants some attention today. So now over to Jason, who is in the City Beautiful.
That's right. In the City Beautiful, if you don't know, is here in Stephen Nagy's favorite place in Florida, which is Orlando. So I am very grateful to be here with all of you. I hope everyone had a blessed Thanksgiving. People got snow, left coast, right coast, and we're just here to answer your questions. It's still beautiful here in Florida. It's like 60 something this morning when I rode at 5 a.m. So still nice. Just long sleeves, no hats, no gloves needed yet. So.
Do you guys ever need gloves? I mean, isn't that an overkill?
If it's like 40 or 50 and you're riding at 20 miles an hour, it's cold, man.
For riding, yeah. But like people in Florida don't like put gloves and mittens and scarves on when it's like 50 degrees, do they?
Oh, yeah. Patty wears gloves,
50?
mittens. Oh, yeah.
We don't wear coats.
It's actually colder down here, Chris, because the air is so wet.
Man, dude, we're in
t-shirts. God, I heard that before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wimp.
That's it.
All right. Well, Joe's no stranger to snow because he lives in the snow belt. He's usually buried in 20 feet of snow.
I have noticed that every year when you.
And I did say feet. Some people are like, no, he must have said inches. No, feet.
No, feet. Yeah. After I got out of the gym today, I had to do the worst thing that I hate the most. I touched my shovel for the first time this year. And I did it with my sneakers and my shorts on. So no gloves, no hat. We just get the job done and get it over with. So put some questions in there and let's get to it.
Yeah, we'll start getting through these questions. All right, we'll kick it off with Mr. Craig Parsons' question here. So in regards to the new Trump touted investment funds, what's the difference between Michael Dell giving money to or Coinbase giving money to most likely poor stewards of money as something if everyone in the – and that was it. So the first part of it, so in regards to those, what's the difference between Dell, Coinbase or Dell giving money to poor stewards of money? And by the way, so what the new Trump touted investment funds, what they were talking about is, so if you guys haven't heard, every newborn gets $1,000 to put into the S&P 500 as an example. So what they're doing is like they're giving like a seed fund to every newborn that they're considering this as a strategy, I guess. I just heard about it. So like the question here is, what's the difference between Coinbase or Dell giving money to the same people? Well, everything goes back to fiat currency. Even Coinbase or Bitcoin has to go back to fiat currency. So to me, it's no different in that regard because that has to come from somewhere, and all that stuff is backed by currently, the U.S. dollar. So if it's U.S. dollar invested in the stock market or U.S. dollar invested into Coinbase and a crypto, to me, it's kind of the same thing. It's just what's just the difference is what it's put into.
It's kind of like reverse gold, right? The dollar used to be pegged to gold, and now the crypto's pegged to the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Genius Act kind of spells that out. So, Craig, one thing that I think would be helpful, it's not so much about I don't really know what the Trump touted investment funds, if you mean like the child accounts that they're talking about, and Invest in America or whatever they call it. Those, Michael Dell and his wife gave the money for that. That was just so that they could kind of get it off the ground, I believe. But when you study the Genius Act, you'll kind of start to understand what the framework's going to be, what the regulations are, and stable coins, hence what we're talking about here, more or less are going to be like the dollar. So, it's really not hard to understand. I mean, right now you use credit cards, you use Venmo, you use all these digital means of currency. Just what's it matter if it's a dollar or a stable coin pegged to the dollar? The only difference is does the U.S. mess with the pegging? It's happened before, probably will happen again. I mean, I can see the use case on both sides, but really it's no different, kind of like what Brian said. I mean, you just got them donating a bunch of money to kind of kick this thing off. I guess I'm kind of confused by the question slightly, but.
So here's what Craig said, or Craig is saying here. It says, U.S. has a fund. Won't it just create inflation? I'm not a hater, just thinking through the consequences. Well, yeah, because what is inflation? it's inflating of the money supply. So if they're going to create $1,000 for every newborn for a child fund, where's that $1,000 coming from? If they can, they just say, hey,
wait, but that's from Michael Dell. Like that, if I'm not mistaken, and I got to go back, that's a donation from them, correct?
I have not heard that deep into it, so I don't know.
Stephen, could you just look at that real quick? I know we had it this morning, but Michael Dell, if I'm not mistaken, that was a donation, wasn't it?
As far as
the Treasury didn't print this money for these accounts.
No,
so what's
it was
the
a
source of it?
donation.
Yeah, what's the source of it then?
The source is a private donation.
Huh.
Multi-billion-dollar private donation from the Dell family.
Yeah. So then
$6
So that
billion.
doesn't inflate. Yeah,
Wow.
that doesn't inflate the money supply at all, because you're not printing new money. The Treasury's not turning the printing press on for this particular use, so it's not inflationary. It's existing currency being shifted and donated. This kind of stuff happens every day. I mean, look at what Warren Buffett and all his cronies do. I mean, the billion-dollar donations is nothing new.
Right.
This was just getting public attention. So I get what they're saying about, like inflation, but this is definitely not inflationary.
Well, it's also put into account they can't use right away. It's not like they're giving them the money to go spend on Christmas.
Yeah, it's in other terms, just so you know, $6.8, $10 billion isn't going to move anything from an inflation standpoint. Zero impact.
I mean, how much did they print during COVID?
5.2 trillion. And I know you're like, well, a trillion, a billion, a trillion, a billion.
Draft differences.
None of us have any concept how much money $5.2 trillion is. It's almost unfathomable. What's the word? Unfathomable. You can't even it doesn't even register. $6 billion. I know for us that's a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, and it's
a lot of money
use, but in the grand scheme of inflationary events, it ain't shit.
Yeah.
Chris, let me ask you this. Do you imagine a time where everything that's being built is big enough where you can donate billions of dollars? Is it
about me donating billions?
Just in general, what we're creating, what we're bringing to America?
I would single-handedly do it, but putting together, like a cause and then raising billions of dollars from other donors plus our donations. Yeah. But
I just heard that and I thought that number, I'm like, wow, $6 billion. Then when you put it in perspective, but to most people, that seems like unimaginable to be able to do that. Right. So Brian,
there's 1 billion, just put 6 of those in a line.
I mean, look how crazy that is though. I mean, $1 million is barely like the size of his shoes. $100 million is to his waist. $1 billion is a few of those, but then look how little he is compared to $1 trillion.
Yeah, oh my God.
You can't even comprehend it.
Right. It's unbelievable. So
that is cool, Stephen. Where'd you find that?
And the US is almost 40 trillion. There you go. Academy blog.
And let me go one more step on Craig. He said, but you're still giving it to people who will use it poorly. You're giving it to kids. So you're saying that my daughter's going to use it poorly? You can't say that. You don't know who's getting it. So that's not something that you can say with any level of fact. No, nor could I. Will some people use it improperly and other people use it properly? 100%. Do some people use their 401k properly and others use it improperly? Yeah, 99% of the people use it improperly. But who's keeping track?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the follow-up, Craig, you're saying here is, explain it wrong. If everyone in America has a fund that grows from the time they were born and now they have money to buy a house or whatever, won't the new paradigm raise home prices?
Yep. But home prices are going up anyway. If you're wasting, Craig, here's the best advice. If you're wasting any time, even like the time we've just spent on this, it is completely useless and it doesn't do anything to change your financial situation. I know we're just on WTF with questions, but I'm just urging you, focus time on things that matter for you and your family and change the paradigm for you and your family. Forget about what the Treasury's doing and what the Dell family's doing and what the government's doing. Read the Serenity Prayer 10 times in a row and then just go about your business. We get so many questions about things that just mean nothing. I mean, they're mood point things, but they mean nothing for changing your life. And that's what I want to see people do. I want to see people change their lives, make their lives better. Worrying about whether people are going to spend money wrong or not, or worrying about whether a $250 account over time is going to increase the price of a house. Your house is going to continue to go up in value. It'll fluctuate up, down, but over a long haul, all of the houses are going to go up. In 10 years from now, the houses that cost $1 million will probably cost 1.5. It just is what it is.
Yep. Cool. So this is I love this question. It says, Rob Rod says, my wife says this is a scam because it is too good to be true, and she would hate to see me lose all my savings.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Hey everyone, what are the two most common things that we hear or are said to us on these calls and Ask Me Anythings, or when we speak live? Like, what do we hear the most, Chris? There's two things I always hear.
I can tell you what I hear the most. It's, Stephen, you are a very, very attractive young man. And your intelligence is beyond scope. So that's what I hear. I don't know what you guys hear.
Oh,
well, after that, Stephen, after they tell you that, what do they tell you next?
Usually it's, I wish I would have learned about this sooner. I hear that a lot. I wish somebody would have taught me this many years ago. I hear that quite often. And then the other thing I would hear is it's too good to be true. They feel like, that kind of that scammy type feel. And, I've told the story, but that's how I felt when I first, met Chris and Brent Kessler, especially with the money multiplier stuff and IBC back in 2019. I thought it was a gimmick because it seemed like it was so good to be true. And then once I dug in, I realized just, the guarantees, the protections, the companies we use have been around forever and ever and ever. And we, waver through downturns and depressions and recessions way better than banks do. So it just makes all the sense. Like, why would you warehouse why would you warehouse your money anywhere else?
yeah.
I'll even say for myself, I worked in the insurance industry. When I came on board with this team, I came on the outside watching, just like your wife was, with the full intent of proving Chris Noggle to be a scam. In the insurance industry for 30 years, I could not believe that I did not know about this. It happened in the very beginning of lockdown. I dug in, I started researching. I knew how life insurance policies worked. I did the financials, but I wasn't familiar with this. I work predominantly in property and casualty and medical malpractice. But when I dug in and I saw that it worked, I actually thought the same thing that your wife is telling you. I was going to test it with my savings account because I still, even though everything supported it, I still had fear that if we were in lockdown, I wasn't going to be able to find anybody and it was a scam. And now 6 years later, I say the same thing everybody else does. I wish I had known sooner. And the one thing, my biggest obstacle to overcome was the idea of the non-direct recognition companies. I didn't understand the idea that we could maintain a cash value even though we were taking a loan against it. And I hear feedback. Sorry.
Yeah. No, and one of the things I'll say to this one, because I've heard this so many times. So where's that coming from? So why is she saying that? Well, one, it's misinformation most likely, or it's a lack of knowledge. Not to say anything bad about the wife. That's just ignorance, by the way. So it's lack of knowledge. So if you're saying something too good to be true, where's that coming from first off, and what knowledge do you have about it? Because if you don't have any knowledge, then what you're saying is not, you don't have the knowledge to say that. But here's the thing I would also say is that I've had a lot of clients say this, and then they can't do infinite banking because they don't qualify. So for them, is it too good to be true? Well, you can't do it. So obviously it's not too good for you. So the way I look at this is if there is something out there that only about 5 or maybe 10% of the population can do, who is it too good to be true for? Well, not 90% of the population. I'd love for them to be able to do it, but they can't. So in that regard, if only a certain select people can't even do this, which by the way, you have to qualify all that kind of stuff, it's not too good to be true for most people. It's actually not even an option. So it's kind of something I kind of talk to people about, because when they start to think of it that way, it's actually more of a privilege to do this. It's a true privilege.
Yeah. I just final thing I'll say on this is, we've all been there. We've all had people in our lives that have said this. I think, if this is your wife, so you could handle it one of two ways. You could just ignore it and then she'll figure it out on her own. Or you could literally just go online and just print out the thing that shows without a shadow of doubt that whole life insurance from a mutually owned company that pays dividends is lock, stock, and barrel guaranteed cash value growth. It's not hard to find that. So if she's saying too good to be true and she'd hate to see you lose all your savings, say, Say to her, honey, can we lose all of our savings in the bank?
Yeah.
And see what she says. And then say, honey, can we lose all of our money if it's 100% guaranteed?
Yeah.
And then see what she says. And I mean, listen, some wives are just impossible. It's just pointless. And then just keep reading the Serenity Prayer, like I mentioned earlier.
One last
I
thing
love I love everything that's being shared. One maybe a different approach you could take too with your wife would be to find out, kind of like Brian's saying and Chris are both saying, like find out why she feels like it's a scam, and then more importantly, act like you're back to when you're courting her and find out what's important to her. What does she want? What is she looking for? What it has her uncomfortable where she doesn't feel like she's provided for maybe or protected, or where is the big goal for her, and help her see that this can be the foundation for her reaching her goals, because now your money, like Chris just said, is growing where it's guaranteed, it's protected. Depending on your state, it might be fully protected from judgment and liens. It gives your family a death benefit. It does all these things that the banks aren't doing, and she doesn't know it yet. That's all.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. We don't know it yet. So we have to dig in and learn. What is the saying? The Will Rogers saying, it's what we think we know that just ain't so.
Right.
All right. So this is a great question right here by Bow Hunter. Would any agent that has been through the Nelson Nash Institute, which means you're certified as an infinite banking practitioner, be able to do the infinite banking concept? Nope. Does not mean you can do it.
Yeah, it's a great question. So the Nelson Nash Institute, for those of you that don't know, was developed by R. Nelson Nash, who wrote the book Becoming Your Own Banker, which we consider kind of like the foundation. It's like the book to start with. And he wrote this book 20, 30 years ago. The concept is incredible. We've obviously developed and created now what we do with BYOB. It's all infinite banking, but we've really taken it to the next level. So what's in that book, you can kind of think of like what you would think about back in the 90s. And then we have what we have today with the vault and everything. And Nelson Nash does a great job of teaching the concept and the foundation, especially for agents, like teaching Austrian economics and how money really actually, functions and things of that nature. But when it comes to actually practicing the infinite banking concept, creating policies and illustrations, working with a client, because ultimately when you start one of these policies or do infinite banking, it's to solve one of your problems, solve one of your goals, solve something in your life. And so the Nelson Nash Institute is not going to teach that stuff. And that's where our company, BYOB Money Multiplier, really excels. Is we take everything that's great about Nelson Nash and infinite banking and bring it into the real world, providing not only upfront solving problems, but ongoing support, servicing, and using the vault, being able to solve your problem, not only today, but for years and years to come. In fact, the Nelson Nash Institute will send us agents, people that approach them. Hey, we'd like to go through the infinite banking certification program, with the Nelson Nash Institute. And they actually will not certify an agent through their program unless they're working with an agency that they trust. And even beyond that, they have to have ongoing, coaching and training. Like for us, I'll use us as an example. We do weekly trainings with all of our agents. We have a very intense training resource library that we always share with each other. New things, because insurance carriers are always changing. Also, laws are always changing. So it's something that has to be ongoing. The way illustrations are built, it's always changing. So, we make sure that our team, our agents, especially our internal team, the ones that you see on this call, we talk daily, about this stuff. So while Nelson Nash does an incredible job in infinite banking, not all agents are built the same. And you're not just going to go out there, go through a Nelson Nash and be able to do infinite banking the right way. Is that fair enough to say, you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Very.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. Streeper is saying here, with One America, my policy premium is going to come up this month. I have it as direct deposit from what I see on the site. Actually, it should be an ACH transaction. Direct deposit is coming from them to you, by the way. But do I still need to do a request, or should I draw automatically?
It should draw automatically.
Yeah, it should draw automatically from your account. It depends on how you have it set up monthly.
I was gonna say, it depends how it's set up. If it's an annual, then you'll have to go in and do it or make the phone call or whatever, right? So
I don't think you can do annual on auto pay.
Not to my knowledge. Like we go in every year and we do ours online. Like we pay each of ours annually online. So.
Yeah. So if it's an annual premium, is that Justin? You're gonna have to just go in there and do it. It's real simple though. And
If
we
the
can help
money's
you.
in there, just click the button to pay the premium, and then it'll take it out a couple days before it's due. Justin.
Yep.
I don't see any comments about how good looking Steven is, but there is a comment that Joe's looking pretty fit. So he's picking stuff up and putting it down. So
Yeah. Let's see. Tony Lone says, just had my medical screening for my first whole life policy. Congrats this morning. Looking forward to closing. It's awesome.
Yay!
Good stuff.
should be any day.
All right. So Craig says here, interviewed for a new financial planner yesterday. Her firm writes a lot of insurance for her clients. Since I have no need for legacy or insurance due to my age at 57, she advised me not to do BYOB.
Because she doesn't understand it. It's that simple. She just doesn't understand it. Listen, Craig, you're not going to find many advisors, if any advisors, that understand BYOB, but they're all going to say that they understand it. They're all going to say, oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that because they want assets under management.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could say a lot, but I'm not going to.
I mean, the question is, does the agent, do they even do infinite banking?
I bet here's what you ask them, Craig. You ask them, what kind of life insurance do you guys sell a lot of? I bet I'll give you the answer. IUL. That's what they sell a lot of. Then what I'd like you to do is do the research on the Kyle Busch family, the famous NASCAR family. Look at what's going on with their IULs. And they're popping up like crazy. It's all over the news all the time. IULs are blowing up left, right, and center, and it's going to continue that way. But I bet you if you ask them what kind of life insurance they write, that's what they're going to tell you. And they're going to say, and then they're going to say that it's better than whole life insurance.
And, I can speak as a person who doesn't have the need for legacy. I wasn't able to have children, so I don't have children to leave it to. But what I've done is set mine up so that there are people I will help. And the reason I set it up predominantly is because of the banking system. I want the banking system. I want my money to continue to stay with me so that when I'm not here, there's somebody else that will benefit from it. But the main purpose for me when I got involved wasn't the legacy play. It was the banking system. It's just that as I learned and understood it, I now have the ability to educate other people because the people I'm leaving it to are becoming educated and create a legacy that maybe isn't my bloodline, but it will be other people because of what I learned in this circle.
There you go.
And if you need a different financial advisor or a true fiduciary, check out PMC Wealth.
There you go.
Never a bad idea to interview a couple different financial planners.
Exactly. Absolutely. I left my financial planner when I joined this career too, because they didn't understand.
And I've written policies for financial planners of my clients. So my client's financial planner gave them the policy. They're like, oh, this is possible. And then they called me up. So that's pretty funny.
And the most beautiful thing about this whole crew is nobody wants you to blindly follow. We want you to learn and understand. Don't do something unless you know, like, and understand it. But that's what we're here for, is to help you to know, like, and understand it. And I didn't jump until I started digging in. And even when I jumped, I went bare minimum because I was still afraid. It was lockdown. And then I had the same thought that everybody else does. Why didn't I do this sooner?
Yep. All right. So a declared ruler, I'm not quite sure what the question here is, so I need some clarification, or we all would. Can I do that with my SS?
Social Security.
Doing it with Social Security, there's a lot of other factors that we would need to know ahead of time. So,
well, I can tell you, I've done a lot of this. So I've done a whole bunch with Social Security, and because listen, anybody can take Social Security, So when they take Social Security, a lot of people don't need the Social Security check. They've got their 401ks, they've got the retirement, their pensions, their income. Social Security, they just take because technically they're like, well, I paid into it, I might as well take it. So what I've worked with lots of clients actually that have taken the Social Security income that they get and just diverted that straight into their banking systems, and that's what funded it, because it was money they weren't used to living on. It was money they technically didn't need, and if they diverted it over there, then they use that money to buy the things and become their own bank and take back the banking functions. That's the best way I've seen Social Security used. But you don't want to use Social Security if you're literally solely living on Social Security and that's your only income and you're barely making it. Then you don't use Social Security.
All right. So there's quite a few questions here from Tony. So before getting my policy with you, I had a 500K term policy with Mass Mutual. Interesting. Any specific questions I should ask in converting some term to permanent with them? They sent a letter saying that you can convert it.
Yeah, you definitely can. I would ask them to, if you could write this down, because it's going to be a little bit technical. With Mass Mutual, I think the best policy they have is the HEC fee. It's HECV. No agent wants to write that policy because it's got literally an 89% reduction in commissions off right out of the hole. That's why you want it. Okay. So it's called the HEC V, high early cash value. It's an actual product name at Mass Mutual. And then when they're designing it to get the best bang for your buck, you got $500K. Ask them if they can design it with 60% of your premium going to paid up additions, because you want to convert all 500,000. So it's going to go quick, and tell them to design it with 60% of the dollars that can go into it going into paid up additions, the remaining amount going to base. And you'll probably need a term rider, but maybe not on a 60-40. So again, hopefully you got all that, Timothy, but that's what you want. You want to convert it to a Mass Mutual HEC fee, 60% to the, it's not going to be called, I'm sorry, not going to be called paid up additions. It's going to be called LISR, LISR at Mass. So 60% goes there, 40% goes to base. And I can almost guarantee you the person you talk to will have no freaking clue what you just said to them, and then just revert back and call us.
I was going to say, good luck finding somebody at the Mass Mutual.
They won't understand, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of like that other question with the financial advisor. If I said that to that I love talking to advisors. Usually it doesn't end well, but I love talking to them because they act so smart. And I get it. I was one for 16 years. They act so smart. Like they know everything. And then all of a sudden you get into like the simplest questions about IBC. They can't answer a single one of them, but yet they know everything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go.
All Ask me what the problem in that industry is.
Someone asked the question. All right. So Tony says here.
What do you think the problem with that industry is, Chris?
Everything.
Tony says, I was looking at the different options on your website. I'm in a debt elimination with limited cash flow mode, not quite ready to invest yet. What does your team have available for mentorship on most efficient and fast debt reduction strategies and long-term planning? Know what that's called?
Yeah, go ahead.
BYOBvault.com. So the Vault software, and obviously we can help you with that. The Vault software is going to be the fastest way to do that because it's going to give you all the directions. It's going to give you hands-on ability to actually plan this stuff out and give you a monthly plan to follow. That's really what it's all about. But that would be one of the best ways. So BYOBvault.com.
Yeah, and when you go there, you can literally use it. You can use the Debt Blaster to do exactly what you want. You don't even have to buy it to use it to kind of get a feel for what it's going to do to erase your debts and pay off your debts. And then if you really like it, then you just buy the light version, the Debt Blaster version, which will help you literally get rid of your debt in a fraction of the time, not working harder, longer, or taking on any risk. And you don't need the policy to use the Debt Blaster.
Yep.
It helps.
And the Vault actually compares different methods so that you pick the best one for your particular scenario.
All it does, Tess, is it just mathematically shows you the absolute most efficient way to pay off your debts. That's all it is. It's just math. It's literally a very complicated algorithm in mathematics showing you how to get your debt gone.
Yep.
So it's really a cool tool worth digging into.
Yeah, so Christian's question here, is there any recordings on the Crack in the Vault episodes that Craig and Maurice have done?
Mario.
Sorry, but
there is. Stephen, where are those recordings held?
You have to be a member. We had an accident once where other people,
okay.
But you actually have to be a member of the Vault.
You got to be a member of BYO Vault.
Yeah.
And then where are they stored after that?
In the Vault.
In the Vault, I think.
That would mean they're in the Vault.
They're locked
I
down.
didn't see them in there when I went in yesterday. I didn't see him. That's what I was asking.
But it's worth it. Join us. There's a meeting tomorrow night, so you're just in time.
I don't know where the recordings are. I'll find out for you guys though.
Okay. Yeah.
But there is a meeting tomorrow night, so join fast.
I've actually just started using the Vault myself. I plugged in my policies and stuff. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
All right. Cheryl says, greetings. I think I'm ready. I need the contacts. I don't know what company to use. So that's what we do. So if you went and contacted one of the insurance companies directly and asked for an infinite banking policy, you might get something completely different that has 4 eyes, by the way. So yeah, so you want to work with someone who actually understands infinite banking, which is obviously our team. But it doesn't matter if you go to the insurance company and get a policy from one of their agents or go through us. It's the exact same numbers. It doesn't change anything. So my question is, why not use people that do this every single day? That's us. So we'll put a link in the chat box here in a moment that you can use to schedule a call with one of our team members. So
yeah, my cat Cash said that's a really good idea.
Yay, Cash is pretty smart.
yeah. Just
When it comes to money, he's smart.
Yeah. There you go.
That's why he's lazy Cash.
Oh, so Ron, a great question, by the way. What's so special about a specially written policy? That's the $1 million question.
It's actually about a $5 question, but go ahead. I don't want to cheapen it, but
who wants to take this one?
You can do this one. You're on a roll.
Yeah. So Ron, there are standard policy you can go get from anybody. What's special about the ones that we do is that we are focused on not the death benefit, which is what every other agent will try to sell you on. We're going to focus on the cash value and building the cash value as quickly as possible. As Chris mentioned, a HEC-V type of policy, high early cash value. But in order to do those, you have to understand how to manipulate or use the insurance company's software to make sure we're putting in the right riders that focus on building cash value. And I'm going to guess 99% of other agents out there don't know what those riders are or even how to use them, or even more, don't know how to tell you how to use the policy as infinite banking. Mm-hmm. So specially designed for cash value, and also you need to work with someone who can tell you how to use it as infinite banking. There you go. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Second question for him. So basically, from my information, my son should start so he can actually use the product later. Yes and yes. I mean, everybody always says, I wish I'd done this 20 years ago, but when's the best time? It's today. It's always going to be today. But yes, if you want your son to do this down the road, then by all means, go get one on your son as well and then teach him how to use it. But if you can, start with yourself first.
But there's one other thing there too, and I don't know the age of your son, but you know, you're saying so your son can use it later. Remember, with the way we specially design and engineer these, so you would ask the $1 million question, which is the $5 question to me, is the way we design them gives you cash value immediately in the first 30 days, or your son cash value in the 30 days. So if you deposit money in a regular whole life policy, let's say you put $1,000 in a regular whole life policy, you have zero money in the first year. And in the second year, probably zero as well, a couple dollars more, maybe. You don't start building cash value in a regular off the shelf whole life until year 3. The policies we build, because of what Brian said, where we reduce the death benefit, which reduces the cost, which reduces our commission. It's almost like I've showed this a whole bunch of times. I show the reduction in the commission with the way we design them. And that's almost dollar for dollar how much cash value you have. So somebody's got to give so somebody else gets. But in the relation to your son here, like it's not get it for your son so he can use it later. Now that's not a false statement. Maybe the plan is to use it for something later, but why not use it now? Like as soon as you're funded, why not find somewhere for that money to go to work?
Yeah. Both
teaching
the and method.
Yeah.
Not this or that, it's this and that. So yeah.
Very cool. Great response. Hey, Chris, before we move on to the next question, I think you'd appreciate this. We were at Thanksgiving and we found this. My dad drew all these pictures when he was 10 years old.
Oh, that's cool.
They're so cool, like the artwork. I've always been an artist, but like 10 years old, so it's the same age as my son. So just kind of cool. I know you do a lot of artwork, Chris.
Nice.
I got all my art when I was a kid. My mom
flipping through it. You know, my dad's 73 now, so almost. Although, just kidding. He's 50, guys.
Yeah, but aren't you?
Had you when he was 8 years old? That's kind of weird. Bowhunter has a great question here. Do you have any agents in Wisconsin? I actually don't believe that we do.
No.
But
we're licensed in every
state.
Yeah, we're licensed in all 50 states. So, I mean, if you're wanting to meet someone in person, that's fine. But typically we do video calls anyways, like this. So we're face to face. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what state you're in or what state we're in, unless you're wanting to sit down and meet with someone for a certain reason. So
I'm trying to think Wisconsin. Isn't that just like kind of over by Utah?
Yep. I'll swim over and see ya.
Yeah.
Yes, to the left of Illinois.
Kind of weird. It's near Chicago, kind of.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been there.
I've actually talked to a lot of people. In
I've
Wisconsin
spoken
lately,
there a bunch of
so-
times. I
Yeah.
always forget. I think it's like, yeah, it's over by Chicago, but like kind of up north.
Wisconsin's cool, man. I toured Green Bay, the Packers Stadium one time. Not during a game, but like one of those tours. They do a really cool place. Been to a couple Brewers games in Milwaukee. Really fun stadium. Just go in the summer.
Yeah, go in the summer, yeah. So Craig is asking this question. Would it be more strategic to set up my policy for a nephew than myself due to age and health?
No, Craig,
There's a
you're not
lot
old.
to unpack there.
Well, there is, but like, I'm just going to kind of go off of the photo. Can you pull that photo back up? Like, I don't know how old that photo is, Craig, but you don't look very old. And I know you're probably like, oh, I'm old because
He was
we've always been
57
told
earlier.
that when you're in your 50s or 60s, you're too old for life insurance, but you're not too old for IBC policies. I'll tell you that. The majority of our clients, I don't know the exact percentage right now, but the majority of our clients are in their late 50s and early 60s. I mean, I would say a large percentage of them.
I would guess 50% at least.
50, at least 50. And if you pull like late 40s in, dude, the number skyrockets like 70s.
No, 40s feels young for our conversation.
Yeah.
So
You're not, I would say you'd hurt yourself more doing it for your nephew because you wouldn't be able to get much money in for your nephew. But doing it for yourself is probably better. But again, Brian, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, fine.
Like, you're probably right. We don't know his true age and we don't know his health, but I mean, you can
he
look
said
at
he's
the photo.
57 earlier, so we know how
That's
old
right.
he
Okay,
is.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So he was the one that said 57. You're spring chicken for this stuff. My goodness.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
at halftime. You're at halftime. The way I look at it, I break it down in quarters. You're in halftime. Your 50s, you're in halftime. 60s, third quarter. 70 to 75, fourth quarter. Everything over that's overtime.
And I read somewhere there's a person alive
Purely.
today that will live to be 150. So you never know.
There you go. And then the follow-up of the question, I mean, a lot of people say, oh, just do it on someone else. But now the policy limits and all guidelines are based upon the other person, not based upon you. So it depends on how old your nephew is. If they're 21 years old and a student, you're not going to be able to do a very, very large policy. If they're a juvenile, it's going to be a very small policy. So just keep in mind there's other limitations on doing
There has
it.
to be insurable interest there too, right? So there's got to be you got to be able to prove that there's a reason that you would insure your nephew. And then if he is a minor, like Brian's, there's a lot of variables, is what we're telling you. Like if you look at it and he's a dependent still, he's young, well, then it means, well, how much does mom or dad have of life insurance on their body will determine how much he can carry on his body. Does he have siblings? Because they'd also need insurance. So we're telling you, if you can be insured, that's the way to go. That's the easy answer.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, as the older you get, the higher there is a cost of insurance. Well, what does cost of insurance mean? It means death benefit. When you're 10 years old, $1 will get you $100. When you're 60 years old, $1 gets you $30. But for infinite banking, once again, we're not trying to build the cash or the death benefit. We're trying to do the cash value. So there's lots of factors that go into that, but that's where a call would be a good thing to do, Craig, is chat with one of us and kind of dig into it a little bit.
Somewhere we'll put the link in the chat for you, Craig.
I think we did previously. Did we, Stephen, put in the?
I did. If you're just listening, it's mentors.beyourownbanker.com.
Yeah.
Or you can email these guys, Jason at chrisnoggle.com, Brian at chrisnoggle.com,
Yep.
Joe at joe.com.
Tech Wizard.
I'm the only one that doesn't have a Chris Noggle email.
I don't know if I do either. Do I have one, Stephen?
No, yours bounces. I mean,
Yeah, I do not have one.
Chris has one, but probably doesn't look at it.
I don't know who that goes to.
Okay.
Craig says here, if my policy allows up to $20,000 in PUAs, do dividends reinvest in PUA decrease my OOP of $20K, or do I get the dividend PUA in addition to it? In addition. Yeah, simple answer.
That's how it was built. Definitely in addition.
Yeah, it was built that way. Yeah, exactly. So
Good question, though. It's super good question.
that's kind of, he's asking a technical question about the PUAs for everybody else who's listening. So he can put in 20 PUAs into the policy every year, or whatever it is, and then dividends come in every year as PUAs. So he's asking, is it part of the 20? No, dividends are on top of it, which is awesome.
Well, what happens to be more technical, your dividend has an option to do several things. It buys an additional paid up addition. A paid up addition is exactly what it sounds like. It is paid up, so done with. You're done paying for, and it's an addition. So it's like just stacking another contract. So when he has 20,000 PUAs, it's buying a bunch of like a carbon copy of that. When he gets a dividend, it buys another one. You're stacking another one. You're stacking another one. And that's how you're building both cash value and death benefit over the course of the whole policy.
Yep. So just a shout out from Shane. So Shane's been with us for a while now. But yeah, high cash value and immediate liquidity is what he experienced working with us. So yeah, I think he has 2 policies, Jason. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. And Shane's one of the best examples of success when you work the system, when you actually do the things. Like Shane first had a bunch of debt. He was very nervous about this. I mean, he'll probably pop in the chat, but like that, he was very, this is too good to be true. Nervous to get started, looking to get out of corporate America. Went from there to taking back control of all the debt, recapturing that money. And now he is one of the he's on every single thing we do. He's private money lending. He's got passive income coming in. I think he's done with his W-2 now. So it's just an example of what happens when you work the system, start thinking like a banker. And it all started with that courage of booking a call and saying, hey, this is where I'm at. I want to do this. I'm nervous about it, and getting those questions answered.
And he's at all the in-person events. So come and join us at the next one of those and shake his hand.
Yep. There you go. And then Craig just said that all Craigs are 50-something years old. So
just to speaking of Craig, let's all give Craig a little positive vibes. He's going in for a root canal right now. So
oof.
Yeah.
Oh, yummy.
Keep him in our thoughts.
Craig Yaney?
Yes.
I've never had anything before. Man, that does not sound fun.
It's been years, but I did have one.
I've never had a fill-in or kind of like that. I don't know.
Apparently, when you sleep with black widow spiders, your teeth stay strong.
Because you eat them. Makes you strong. Oh, geez.
Oh man.
All right.
Now I've heard it all.
Yeah.
They work for Spider-Man. That dude can fly all over and fight bad guys. And
off the rails. Let's get back on. All right. Timothy says here, thanks for the information on Mass Mutual. Do you think they would consider a cash dump into the LISR PUA?
No.
Yes, by the way, they do. Yeah, they do dump ins, all those kind of things. Also, for those,
Wasn't that the term? Well, hold on. Wasn't that the term conversion one? If you have $500,000 in term, there's probably no way you're going to be able to get LISR in without. You'll exceed the 500,000 very quickly. So just forewarning. Just be careful with that.
Yeah, because you can only convert it up to that death benefit, and
Correct.
Whole life and term are very different on how they calculate death benefits. So then it also says here, for those on this call, so generally speaking, on the listening in, considering BYOB, I highly suggest you pull the trigger. So appreciate that. Yeah. So you have to see how that works. Let's see here. What are the questions we got? Oh, geez. Yeah. Yes, there's lots of Craigs here. That's yes, for sure. Yeah. Shane says, found a team that I trust. There you go. Appreciate you saying that, man. And then Joe says, put in my first premium of 600 and already over 500K in cash value. That's awesome. I'd be curious to see what policy that is. That's awesome. Very cool. So there you go.
I know that people that have their doubts, I don't think there's a member here on this screen tonight that didn't have doubts in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't
mine was kind of the opposite a little bit, Tesh, just because when I read the book, I was really in a desperate place. Sorry, Brian. I was in a desperate place where I was looking for a solution. I asked the only, my mentor, Brian, was a fiduciary with 40 wealth management offices. His father was really close to R. Nelson. So he actually learned from him back in the early 2000s, 2005, 2006, started his first policy in 2007. So he was the first person my whole entire life that actually talked to me about money and didn't make my wife or I feel stupid because we didn't know more. And so then when he handed me Nelson's book, when I asked for a financial philosophy, like I got really mad actually, because I read it and it made sense. And I was like, this can't be true. If this was true, every effing person would do this.
Exactly.
I read it again the next day and then I called him up and cussed him out. You've heard me say this before, but I was like, dude, why didn't you tell me, Rep? And he's like, Sip, I've known you for 2 years, man. Why didn't you tell me? You weren't ready. And that's the reality with everyone we talk to. Like, until you're ready for the information, it'll never find you.
True statement.
Yep. There you go. And Joe actually said, so by the way, Joe actually has a policy, a HEC V1 with Mass Mutual. So I'm be curious to who wrote that policy for you, because we typically don't write with mass because
I used to write a ton of heck fees. I wonder if I did Joe's back some time ago. I just got my 2 statements for 2 heck fees that I own. I still love that product. I know mass is a pain in the ass, but I still like the product.
Yeah, I'd love to write a policy with them, but yeah.
And the reason Chris said that is because mass, like we broke up with them, right, a couple of years ago because it didn't align. We were dating and it just wasn't going so well. And we said, you know what? If we can't take loans out in the first year, we're done with you guys. And then, you know, circumstances change and now we're kind of sweethearts again, but we still can't take loans out in the first year. So we're kind of back together, but not really. It's kind of, we're seeing how it's going to go, but that's kind of where we're at now. So I'm glad you enjoyed that test. That's good.
I did enjoy it. It'll be in the next book, right, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it was another practitioner. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. Yeah, cool. Just be careful about that loan in the first year. Or the agent has to be careful, I guess.
No, we seem to be the only ones that they came down on for that because we were number 1. They don't seem to come down on anybody else.
There was an agent that I remember, I wasn't part of our team, that said they did have their license pulled from them.
Oh no, people, yeah, they definitely canceled people, oh for sure. But they just don't seem to enforce it anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, that was our last question, everybody. So we got 3 minutes to kill. So
Wow.
Joe, are you gonna dance for us?
No, Steven's doing a typing display of how fast
I'm trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, no way.
I'm over here like.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm talking PMC.
Where's the chat bar or the call link again? I put it in there. There it is. So there's our call link if you want to schedule a call with one of our mentors right there, mentors.beyourownbanker.com.
And then
What's
the training.
www? What is that?
Wolf Wednesday webinar.
Ah.
So I don't know why I put that in
And
there.
then also the blueprint, the training at the end of January, the 30th, 31st, and February 1st that Stephen hates.
Did we already put the link for that in there? I thought we did.
Yeah, the last training was incredible. It was such a nice flow from introduction, what is this? Why would you want to do this? All the way through, you know, how do you identify where you're at in your journey? What are some advanced topics? How do you protect your family? How do you do the 4 different things that we're always solving? Like it was a really nice flow. I can't wait to see what we're going to create for 3 days. I know that I'll be bringing something brand new that I'm super excited to share. I've talked to Steven about it, but the Family Freedom Framework, right? We're going to help people get their visions, get their values, anchor them in. So, you know, we got the vault doing all the math. We're going to get the other side of things to help you get your picture down, help you think in terms of generations and decades and centuries versus just, you know, what's happening the next day or so, right? So don't miss it, like Tess said.
Yeah. And the 3-day training is actually where I started because it was a real inexpensive training. And each 3-day training, I picked one thing, and that's how I changed as I started coming into this group. It's just one thing for each 3-day because, as they always say, it's like a fire hose, but you get the recordings and you just pick one thing and start moving. And then 6 years from now, you'll be on here with me.
Now that's, folks, what we call wisdom. That's wisdom. If you don't take action, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So that is wisdom right there. I love that, Tess. Thanks for sharing that.
Cool. Well, that's it. Who wants to close us out?
All right, I'll close this out. Thanks everybody for joining us. Great questions. Really, really good questions. Love it. And if we can be of service to any of you, you know how to get a hold of us. Just click that link and book a call. But with that being said, we got to go because Steven has to practice his typing because he's not fast enough yet. With that being said, thanks for joining us for Ask Me Anything. See you next time.